I am so happy and grateful now that you are here listening with the part of you that remembers. Because before we talk about money, success, healing, relationships, or any visible result, we must confront one question with ruthless honesty. What are you? Not what you've been told, not your name, your job, your history, your wounds. What are you? Here is the first clean cut of fact. You are a being of organized energy, moving through a universe of organized energy. Every cell of your body is built from atoms that were forged in stars. Those atoms are 99.999% space, held in form by invisible forces, vibrating in precise patterns. The same fundamental substance that appears as your hand appears as mountains, oceans, trees, cities, and stars. Different arrangements, same essence. There is not your matter, and the universe is matter. There is matter, expressing. So the idea that you are somehow separate from the field you live in is not only spiritually weak, it is scientifically lazy. You are in it. It is in you. There is no line. Now look at the mind. Before an action appears in your body, it appears as an impulse in thought. Before a building exists, it exists as an idea. Before a movement reshapes civilization, it begins as a conviction inside one human being. Strip away the mysticism and look at what is in front of you. Thought precedes action. Action shapes conditions. Repeated thoughts become habits. Habits become character. Character becomes destiny. This is not opinion. This is sequence. When we say as within, so without, we are not quoting poetry. We are describing a process as real as gravity. You are not just a physical creature trying to occasionally have a spiritual experience. You are the intersection of two orders of reality, the unseen and the seen, the invisible impulse and the visible result. Call the source what you will, God, infinite intelligence, divine providence, spirit, the field, the quintessential force. The name is not the power. The operation is the power. What matters is this: there is a higher order that moves in a uniform and orderly method. It does not improvise chaos. It expresses law. Growth follows pattern. Seeds produce after their kind. Thought produces after its kind. When you begin to understand how the human being was created through intelligent pattern, intention, and law, you begin to understand how anything is called into existence. A pattern is conceived. Energy organizes around that pattern. Matter obediently follows. That is true of galaxies. That is true of your business. That is true of your inner life. So when gratitude and faith are dismissed as soft, understand that's ignorance speaking. Gratitude and faith are how a conscious being aligns with the patterning power of the universe. Gratitude is not sentimental. It is a deliberate frequency of agreement with life. Faith is not blind. It is confidence in law. Trust that the invisible order responds to the pattern you impress upon it. You must know what you are standing in before you can consciously work with it. You are living, moving, and having your being inside an intelligent field that responds to the tone of your dominant thought, the permission of your belief, the instruction of your habitual focus. You are also equipped by design with faculties that mark you as more than an animal reacting to stimulus, perception, the power to choose how you see, will, the power to hold an idea without breaking, imagination, the power to form new patterns, memory, the power to recall and recode experience, intuition, the power to sense beyond the obvious, reason, the power to arrange truth into clarity. These are not decorations. These are precision instruments for working with infinite intelligence. So when you say, I am so happy and grateful now that I am consciously aware that I am in a positive and creative mental state, effectively using my intellectual faculties at their full potential, in complete and harmonious alignment with the uniform, orderly method of infinite intelligence, you are not reciting something nice. You are describing your proper position in reality. You are acknowledging there is an intelligent order. I am part of that order. My mind is designed to cooperate with that order, and my gratitude is my consent. Gratitude at this level is not I like what happened. Gratitude is I recognize where I live and who I am in relation to it. It is the end of accidental living, because here is another fact. There is no neutral state in this universe. You are always impressing something upon the field through fear, through apathy, through resentment, or through gratitude and faith. Something is always being planted. When you are unconscious, the impressions are random. When you are conscious, the impressions are chosen. The difference between a drifting life and a directed life is not luck. It is awareness plus law. So this first part of our journey is not meant to comfort you. It is meant to corner you into clarity. You come from intelligence. You live in intelligence. You think into intelligence. You receive from the same intelligence what you consistently think into it. If you pollute that stream with doubt, confusion, and divided intention, you still get results, only crooked ones. If you refine that stream with gratitude and unwavering faith, you get results that look like order, provision, alignment, so-called synchronicity. This is the swift sword. There is no mystery except to the ignorant. The laws are not hiding. What's been missing is conscious cooperation. Gratitude is how you tune yourself to the field. Faith is how you move in it. From here, we'll move into part 2, the field and the law, where we strip away the superstition around energy and attraction and look at how cosmic habit force, repetition, and alignment actually lock your results into place. But first, let this settle. You are not begging life for favor. You are learning how to stand as what you already are, a conscious expression of infinite intelligence, choosing what seeds you plant in the only field there is. That inner recognition is where the law of gratitude and faith begins. Part 2, the field and the law. There is no empty space in the universe. What appears as air between you and the next object is not absence, it is presence. It is the field. Every scientific instrument that has dared to look closely finds motion where the eye once saw nothing, particles emerging, dissolving, and reappearing from the unseen. That unseen, the mystics called spirit. The physicists call it energy. The wise call it law. All things, visible and invisible, are modes of one continuous substance. It is unbroken like the ocean beneath its waves. Form is what the wave looks like. Law is what the ocean is. This field is impersonal. It plays no favorites. It has no moods, no opinions, no moral bias. It mirrors whatever vibration enters it with mathematical accuracy. A mind vibrating in gratitude sends the signal of completion, of harmony. The field responds with conditions that match harmony. A mind vibrating in fear sends the signal of division, of loss. The field matches that division in form. The field does not correct you, it reflects you. It will mirror the architecture of your inner atmosphere until you decide to rebuild. This is law, the fixed tendency of the universe toward correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. As in thought, so in thing. The ancients carved this truth into stone. The scientists charted in equations. But both describe one event, the movement of energy obeying pattern. Every repetition of thought becomes a line of current in that field. Each time you dwell on lack, you reinforce the channel through which lack must flow. Each time you dwell on abundance, you carve a path through which abundance must travel. This is called cosmic habit force, the self-sustaining rhythm that keeps planets in orbit and habits in place. It is the law of continuity. Whatever is set in motion continues until a greater force redirects it. So when a man wonders why his life repeats itself, why the same scarcity, conflict, or failure returns, he need not look to fate. He must look to rhythm. He must ask, what thought pattern have I trained the universe to echo? Because the field is generous. It never forgets a signal. It keeps replaying your dominant frequency until you compose a new one. Now see how faith enters. Faith is not a desperate plea. It is the stabilizing tone that holds a frequency long enough for the field to harden it into form. Without faith, the signal flickers. With faith, the signal sustains. Faith is the governor of vibration. It prevents contradiction. It locks the idea in place long enough for the invisible to condense into the visible. Gratitude amplifies. Faith stabilizes. Together they form the magnetic and electric poles of creation. Gratitude says, I already have. Faith says, it cannot fail. One attracts, the other holds. And yet both depend on lawful repetition. A single burst of gratitude will not move a mountain. A disciplined rhythm of gratitude will. The universe is rhythmic. Your heart beats in rhythm. Your breath flows in rhythm. Your thoughts repeated become rhythms, and every rhythm becomes law to the body, to circumstance, to destiny. Understand this, and you hold the lever of deliberate evolution. When we speak of manifestation, we are not talking about conjuring miracles. We are talking about the lawful accumulation of energy around a persistent mental image. Energy follows attention. Attention held with emotion molds energy into blueprint. Blueprint held with faith condenses into experience. That is the creative sequence of the universe, visible in everything from an oak tree to an empire. The field never rests. It is ceaselessly producing results in perfect agreement with the strongest impression upon it. To work against this law is to experience resistance, chaos, and exhaustion. To work with it is to experience flow, alignment, and creative power that feels effortless. That is why gratitude is the beginning of mastery. It puts you instantly in harmony with the existing order of good, and faith is its completion. It sustains the vibration until the unseen becomes seen. You are not here to beg the field for favor. You are here to instruct it. Your words, your emotions, your sustained thoughts are the instruments of command. The field does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to definite instruction given with emotional conviction. This is why idle affirmations fail. You can speak 1,000 words a day, but if the emotion behind them contradicts the statement, the field obeys the emotion, not the language. You cannot affirm abundance at dawn and cradle fear by dusk. Two voices cancel, one voice creates. The law demands unity, and nature herself will not tolerate confusion. Remember, two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Remove doubt, and conviction rushes in to fill the vacuum. This is not moral poetry, it is physics of consciousness. The moment you hold one clear, unwavering tone of belief, the field begins reorganizing to support it. Circumstances, people, and opportunities shift to match the vibration you maintain. That reorganization is not luck, it is law. The same law that keeps electrons in orbit keeps your intention in formation. You are literally surrounded by the evidence of your most consistent thoughts. Look around you. Your environment is your mind in slow motion. To change it, you do not fight the forms, you change the frequency that made them. That is what gratitude and faith accomplish together. They lift your vibration above resistance and stabilize your pattern until the new reality crystallizes. Here is the sword of actual fact. Everything is made of the same substance. That substance obeys thought. Thought obeys feeling. Feeling obeys focus. Focus obeys will. Therefore, mastery begins not with labor, but with inner order. Gratitude aligns you to what already is good. Faith directs that alignment toward what is becoming better. Together they are the hinge upon which all manifestation turns. Next, part 3, Faith and Creative Confidence, where we'll explore how the individual mind impresses the infinite, why conviction outperforms logic, how emotion instructs energy, and how faith becomes the architecture of visible power. Part 3, Faith and Creative Confidence. You cannot see faith with your eyes, but you can feel it the way you feel gravity. Constant, silent, and absolute. It is the invisible bridge between the world of thought and the world of things. Every act of creation, from the smallest invention to the birth of a star, crosses that bridge. Faith is not religion. Faith is rhythm. It is the steady hum of confidence in the law that governs all motion. And when that rhythm becomes unbroken, the field answers like an echo in perfect pitch. Doubt interrupts the current. Fear reverses it. Faith stabilizes it. That is why the mind, trained in gratitude, naturally gives birth to faith. Gratitude acknowledges order. Faith acts on that order as if it were already complete. This is the first motion of creative confidence. Not a belief that something will happen, but an awareness that something is already happening. You don't plant a seed and pray for the earth to remember how to grow. You trust the process because the process is law. The same law that moves roots toward the dark and leaves toward the sun moves your desire toward fulfillment. You are not inventing new law, you are cooperating with eternal sequence. You become the conscious gardener of energy. Every great achievement begins with one person seeing what is not yet visible, holding that mental image steady through criticism, delay, and contradiction. That is faith in action, not belief without evidence, but loyalty to the unseen cause that always precedes visible effect. To the untrained, this looks like madness. To the master, it is precision. When your faith matures, the appearance of impossibility no longer startles you. You begin to understand that the invisible order is not moved by appearances. You stop reacting to evidence and start creating it. The true meaning of living by faith is this: you move from emotional dependency on conditions to creative command over them. The ignorant man says, "I'll believe it when I see it." The awakened one says, "I'll see it because I believe it." One waits for permission, the other issues instruction. This difference is everything. It divides the imitator from the initiator, the man who repeats history from the one who writes it. Your subconscious mind, remember, is obedient but blind. It takes its orders from the vibration you maintain. That vibration is not determined by what you say you believe, but by what you feel to be true. So when your heart burns with conviction, not wishful thinking, but calm knowing, the subconscious begins to move resources, rearrange circumstances, and magnetize opportunities to match your emotional tone. Faith is that tone, and creative confidence is its posture. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance pretends to know. Confidence knows. Confidence is the posture of one who has understood their origin, that they are made of the same intelligence that arranges stars. When that truth becomes embodied, hesitation dies. You stop asking for permission to live well. You start commanding yourself into order. Faith does not beg, faith declares. It is the inner decree that says what I have spoken is now forming in perfect order. And the field, being exact, responds precisely to that degree of certainty. The law of correspondence cannot refuse conviction. It can only echo it. But here's where most falter. They speak their intention once and then look around for proof. The moment they look, they see the old pattern still standing and faith collapses. They forget that visible reality is slow. It is a record of yesterday's vibration. Faith lives in now. It is the vibration writing tomorrow's record. When you understand this, impatience becomes unnecessary. You can rest in the rhythm of law. To hold faith, you must feel the result before the evidence appears. You must become emotionally congruent with what you desire. If you want peace, you must feel peace first. If you want wealth, you must feel abundance before it arrives. If you want healing, you must embody vitality before it manifests. You are not faking emotion, you are fabricating cause. The emotion is the electromagnetic signal that tells the field what form to take. Faith is therefore not passive, it is an act of emotional engineering. You are building an atmosphere inside yourself where only your chosen outcome can survive. Every thought that contradicts it must be dissolved. Every feeling that doubts it must be replaced. Remember, two voices cancel, one voice creates. Your divided self cannot build. That is why the disciplined mind repeats gratitude daily, not to flatter the universe, but to maintain a steady tone of receptivity. That tone becomes your baseline, and when faith holds that baseline long enough, reality must synchronize. Even the smallest flicker of unwavering belief begins to reshape matter. It arranges energy into lines of probability that soon become lines of fact. This is not wishful thinking, this is physics expressed through consciousness. The unseen responds to conviction the way iron responds to a magnet. It cannot do otherwise. The field does not choose what to answer, it only answers what is sustained. So understand this clearly. You are never punished for your thoughts, you are only completed by them. Each thought finds its own form, and faith is the midwife that brings it to birth. This is the architecture of manifestation. When gratitude supplies harmony and faith supplies steadiness, the mind becomes a tuning fork for creation. You emit an unbroken tone that the universe cannot ignore. You stop searching for miracles and start recognizing that life itself is the miracle, an endless mirror of what you continually believe to be true, and in that mirror, confidence is king. The field bows to the consciousness that knows itself. Faith without confidence is noise. Confidence without faith is pride. Together they are power. You are not here to learn how to wish better. You are here to learn how to become the wish fulfilled. Hold that identity. Speak from it, feel from it, act from it, then stand still. Let the field rearrange itself around the tone of your certainty. Because when the vibration is pure, creation cannot resist. It must respond. It must obey. It must become. Next, Part 4, Affirmation and Realization. Where this sequence will reach its summit, you'll speak the affirmation of gratitude and faith as a living decree, not a hope. It will be written to close the entire episode in one unified state of consciousness, guiding the listener into stillness, power, and realization. Part 4, Affirmation and Realization. Now we arrive at stillness, where words stop being explanations and return to their rightful place as instruments of creation. The thinking has done its work. The understanding has cleared the ground. Now, what remains is realization, knowing, not believing. Realization is the quiet thunder of alignment. It does not announce itself with emotion. It settles like gravity. You feel yourself become the very principle you once studied. You no longer reach for truth. You resonate with it. This is where the affirmation becomes living speech, not a phrase to repeat, but a frequency to inhabit. Let the following words fall slowly, like stone into still water, each one sending a wave through the unseen. Affirmation of gratitude and faith. I am so happy and grateful now that I am consciously aware that I am in a positive and creative mental state, effectively using my intellectual faculties at their full potential in complete and harmonious alignment with the uniform, orderly method of infinite intelligence, which permeates, penetrates, and fills my entire being with the positive vibrations of conscious, unconditional love, excellent health, wealth, joy, success, prosperity, opulence, abundance, and faith. I am so happy and grateful now that the old life is dead and buried. I have severed myself from it once and for all. Henceforth I live the new life of success and power, self-mastery, and all accomplishment. This I do not in the strength of my feeble will and surface mind of ordinary consciousness, but by the infinite power of my deeper inner mind, which is one with and forms a part of the infinite universal mind. I am the artist of my reality. Every choice, action, feeling, tone, and expression contribute to my beautiful life. Now breathe. Do not rush to feel anything. Just allow the weight of those words to rest in the body. Feel the still pulse beneath them. That pulse is the movement of law responding. This is what faith feels like. Unhurried certainty. You are no longer seeking. You are standing in the finished work. The field is now carrying your decree. You have impressed it with gratitude, sealed it with faith, and infused it with identity. The blueprint is drawn. The substance begins to move. And as it moves, conditions shift quietly, almost invisibly. The old patterns dissolve without struggle. New currents form beneath awareness, aligning people, timing, and opportunity to your new vibration. You will call them coincidences. They are confirmations. This is the unseen machinery of law at work. It obeys not the noise of emotion, but the clarity of command. You have spoken with gratitude, you have felt with faith, and you have aligned with the field through understanding, innerstanding, and overstanding. Now, be still. The unseen is building. It is arranging energy into matter, possibility into form, vibration into visibility. You have activated the divine operation within you, and that operation never fails to move forward, producing new conditions, always in advance of any that have gone before. That is its nature. That is your nature. When you align with gratitude, you align with the constant expansion of divine intelligence. When you sustain faith, you maintain the pattern until it crystallizes as form. Do you see now? There is no mystery, only method. There is no distance between thought and thing, only time required for translation, and even time obeys consciousness. It bends where belief is absolute. You are not hoping, you are authoring. Every declaration made in the spirit of gratitude and faith is cause. Every experience that follows is its echo. So live as cause, speak as cause, walk as cause, and reality will continue to mirror your vibration with precision. You are not a beggar in a random world. You are a participant in divine law. You are a center of operation for the infinite itself. Your mind, when clear, is the mirror through which God sees its own reflection. Your emotion, when steady, is the current through which creation continues its work. Your faith, when pure, is the frequency through which mountains move. Do not measure your power by circumstance. Circumstance is the shadow, consciousness is the sun. Turn toward awareness, and the shadow rearranges itself. You have been told that faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. Now you understand why, because even the smallest pulse of unwavering belief sends a vibration through the field that cannot return void. Faith is not measured in size, but in purity. One pure tone reshapes the entire chord of your experience. So let this be your state. Gratitude is breath, faith is rhythm, silence as certainty, and in that state, creation will not delay. It will hurry to obey its own reflection in you. Now close the circle. Affirm once more, in stillness and authority. I am so happy and grateful now that I am one with infinite intelligence. Every good thing is already mine by right of consciousness. I walk in peace, speak in power, and live in the rhythm of divine order. My faith is unbroken. My gratitude is full. Creation continues through me, so it is.